Hello everyone, this is the Red Riot Robot bringing you an early edition of Logging with Logging February 2025. I will get to why it's earlier than normal at the end of the video, so stick around. First thing to talk about is the major game announcements that happened. We got a Sony State of Play that was overall alright. There were a handful of announcements that I'm really looking forward to, and the first of the big ones was Onimusha Way of the Sword. Capcom had a showcase last week, which made it showing up in Sony really funny. What they did with the Onimusha Way of the Sword is they showed the new ways to fight enemies, specifically that there's a lot of environmental interaction in this game, and I'm glad that it's trying to do something that's not a Souls-like. Thank God. I love Souls-likes, but I kind of hate how they took over the action game genre. But yeah, Onimusha Way of the Sword is looking good. We still don't have like a release date or anything. This was just showing off some gameplay. The second thing that caught my eye was Lost Soul Aside. This game that was announced like 9 years ago and was originally being worked on by one guy finally has a release date. I will probably get it. I'm looking forward to what it is because it's just been kind of in the zeitgeist for forever, and I'm interested to see what came out of it. The third game I want to talk about that's interesting to me is Mind's Eye. This is a game by former Rockstar developers and is being published by IO Interactive. I'm not entirely sure this game will be good because anytime we get a new crime sandbox, they've been very rough. Look at Saints Row, the reboot. So I don't know how this will end up, but I'll keep an eye on it because, I don't know, something about it caught my eye. Fourth, we got a trailer for Lies of P DLC. This was announced a couple of years ago, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a prequel to the main game, so it'll be before the puppets took over the city, and it's looking pretty good. And finally, the thing that I'm really interested in, specifically because they put gameplay out the day after, is Tides of Annihilation. This is a game made by a Chinese dev, and this is definitely trying to hit like more of a Devil May Cry style, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing, especially from that gameplay trailer, because it's giving me hints of Devil May Cry and Folklore, if anyone's ever played that. I'm really interested in what they're going to be doing with that, so I'm going to definitely keep my eye on that. And yeah, those are the major game announcements that I found interesting over the past month. Tell me if there was anything in that state of play that you found more interesting, but these 5 things are what I'm most interested in. Alright, now that we got the announcements out, let's talk about the games that I played. The first thing that I finished was Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. Honestly, if you want a slightly easier version of Ninja Gaiden 2, I would recommend it. It's a pretty good experience all around. I still kind of stop enjoying this game once you get to the Hell world, because the game stops being like paced well, and instead it just turns into nothing but combat rooms. Whereas before, yeah, there's a lot of combat, but they break it up with some platforming that's not really that hard, but at least it keeps the pace not at a 10 all the time. And so by the time I get to the end of Ninja Gaiden 2, I'm always exhausted. If you've been hankering for Ninja Gaiden, I'd recommend it. The second game that I played and also wound up finishing was Blade Chimera. I did an impressions video of it earlier in the month, and overall, I'll recommend this. This isn't as good as Touhou Luna Nights, but I would say it's better than Deedlit in Wonder Labyrinth. Overall, it's a very solid Metroidvania. Then I played Chorus, which again, I have another preview video on if you want to go check that out. Getting further into this, I'm enjoying it a little more. I think my big issue with the game is that it has kind of a lack of variety. You kind of fall into a repetitive loop. The fourth game I've been playing and getting through slowly is Final Fantasy VII Remake. I had started that last month. I've made a lot more leeway on it this month. I'll probably finish it by the time this video comes out, and I will be on to the Integrate DLC. I haven't played that yet, so I'm interested in that. And finally, I got this game called Ropuka's Idle Island, and all it is a little idle game that you can put in the corner of the screen while you do something else. It plays relaxing music and relaxing ambient sounds. I've kind of used it a little bit as a sleep aid, and I did 100% this for whatever that's worth. And yeah, that's everything I played. Now that we've gotten the games that I've played out of the way, let's talk about the games that are releasing in March. The big one that everyone's kind of looking at to see whether or not Ubisoft remains its own company is Assassin's Creed Shadows. I don't care about Assassin's Creed anymore, so I'm probably not going to buy this. But I think with how badly Ubisoft has been doing over the past several years, it's likely not going to be the big savior that'll keep them from being bought, and I think it's mostly deciding what will happen after the purchase by Tencent. That's basically all I have to say about Assassin's Creed. I hope if you're interested in it, you enjoy yourself. Outside of that, March is a little light with major releases, so I had to kind of look through some stuff. First up is Atelier Yumiya. I've played other Atelier games. Usually I try out the first game in a trilogy because that's how the series functions. And this is the new start of a trilogy. So I'm going to try it out. If you don't know what the Atelier series is, you play as an alchemist in a JRPG that is very slice of life-esque. This is the first one, I think, that's not going to be just kind of hanging out around the town and saving the town, but is going to be big adventure, like a typical JRPG. And I'm kind of interesting how Gust, the developer of Atelier, will handle that. Another game coming out in March is Split Fiction by Hazelight Studios, aka the studio under Joseph Fares, the guy who said to fuck the Oscars. I love Joseph Fares, and this looks like it'll be another co-op game from Hazelight, and that seems to be their bread and butter, and I'm sure it's going to be very good if the last two games that they've put out have anything to say about it. And finally, the game that I'm looking forward to the most in March is First Berserker Kazan. This is an action Souls-like, and I know I complained about Souls games earlier in the video, but I did play the demo for this game, and it was pretty good, and so I'm looking forward to this a lot. It's made by the same people who made Dungeon Fighter Online, the Korean MMO. It seems like a lot of Korean developers are making action Souls-likes, and they're pretty good at it if Lies of P and First Berserk Kazan have anything to go by, and I hope this continues. And so yeah, that's the end of the games being released, and so some of you may be wondering, why is this being released so early in February? It's because I'm planning to do Steam Next Fest, and Steam Next Fest is coming up at the end of February, so I had to make a choice between putting Steam Next Fest a week back or doing it the week of and pushing logging February first. Obviously, by this video, you understand what I did, and that's it. I'm the Red Riot Robot, signing out. Have a nice day, everyone.